The stars were quiet, peaceful. As always, space stretched endlessly, cold and dark. But tonight, that silence was broken. 12 massive alien warships appeared above Earth's orbit. They did not arrive quietly. They tore through space like knives. Through cloth surrounded by glowing red energy. These were no ordinary ships. They were the Crimson Talons, the strongest war fleet of the Seraph Dominion. It's an ancient alien empire that ruled hundreds of planets. On the largest ship, the flagship, called Devourer of Suns, stood Queen Zalara, ruler of the Seraph. She was tall, with skin like polished obsidian and golden eyes that never blinked. Her voice could silence armies, and her mind could link with every ship, every soldier in her fleet. She believed in power, not mercy. For centuries, no species had stopped the Seraph. They came, they conquered, and they moved on. Now, Earth was next. Earth's last meeting far below. On Earth, a final emergency meeting was held. The United Nations headquarters was silent, except for the hum of holograms, and the nervous breathing of leaders from every country. The message from space had been simple: surrender, or be erased. General Amina Reyes, commander of Earth's defense forces, stood in front of them all. Her voice was calm, but her eyes were sharp. "They think we're weak," she said. "They think we're alone. They're wrong." President Zhao of China leaned forward. "What do we do? We don't have weapons strong enough to stop one of those ships, let alone 12. Reyes looked at her small tablet. "We do. We've just never used them." There was silence. No one dared to speak. Reyes continued. "Project Aegis, Global Defense Initiative, off the books. Developed underground in the Mojave Desert, deep in Antarctica, hidden in the oceans. You've all heard rumors. They're true." President Okoro of Nigeria frowned. "Even if we have a secret weapon, why haven't we used it before?" Reyes looked him in the eye. "'Cause it's not a weapon. It's a warning." The Queen watches above the planet. Queen Zalara stood still, her mind inside the thoughts of her war commanders. Through their eyes, she watched Earth's surface, its blue oceans and green lands. "Primitive," she said softly. "Still burning oil, still using metal machines, still believing in hope." Her second-in-command, Commander Talvrith, growled through a speaker. "Shall we fire, my queen?" "No," she said. "Let them see. Let them understand who we are. Then we destroy them." She raised her arm. "Begin descent. Power up main cannons." The 12 warships moved slowly toward Earth's orbit. Casting shadows across the planet, people looked up from their cities and saw glowing lines in the sky, lines that pulsed with red and black light. News channels went silent. Social media collapsed. Satellites began to fail, and then, just as the first ship prepared to fire, it happened. 7 seconds, a pulse of light shot from Earth, but it was not fire, not metal. It looked like nothing, a wave of invisible energy. And in less than 7 seconds, everything changed. The first Seraph warship flickered, then exploded without sound. The second froze midair, then shattered into dust. The third collapsed into itself like a black hole and vanished. One by one, the Crimson Talons, age the size of a small city, were destroyed. No defense shields, no escape pods, no chance to react. Inside the Devourer of Suns, alarms screamed. Red lights flashed. Queen Zalara grabbed her head as her psychic link with the fleet broke. Her mind felt like it was burning 12 minds. Gone in a flash, gone. She dropped to one knee, breathless. What? ... What was that? She whispered. No one answered. There was silence on the command deck. For the first time in her life, Queen Zalara felt fear. The message back on Earth. General Reyes stood in a control room deep underground. She looked at the screen showing the battlefield in space. All targets eliminated, the AI reported. "No human casualties." "Send the message," Reyes said. A short signal was beamed directly to the Devourer of Suns. It appeared as plain text on the Queen's screen. "Go home." "That was your only warning." The Queen Zalara stared. At the message, her hands trembled. "No species, ... No technology has ever done this," she said. Talvrith coughed. He was injured, bleeding from his side. What kind of weapons, do they have? Zillara stood up slowly. Her golden eyes were still wide with disbelief. No weapons we know. No energy signatures. No heat, no movement. They didn't shoot us, she whispered. They unmade us. Somewhere, hidden beneath the ice of Antarctica, in a hidden underground facility, a group of scientists watched silently as their screens turned green. Prometheus protocol successful. One of them said, another nodded. They're not ready. For stage 2 yet? But if they come back, we won't need 7 seconds next time. At the center of the room stood a tall cylinder, glowing with soft white light. Inside it pulsed a strange crystal, living quantum AI. It spoke. It's not with sound, but directly into their minds. The Queen is afraid now. She will not stop. But she knows the truth. Humanity is not weak. Humanity was only... waiting. Queen Zillara sat alone in her command chamber. Bright stars of space shone through the windows, but she didn't see them. Her hands were still. Her mind was broken. For the first time in her long rule, she had lost a battle, not just lost humiliated. 12 of her best warships destroyed in seconds, her elite warriors erased without a trace. Worst of all, she didn't know how. The message echoes, go home. That was your only warning. The message from Earth played again and again on her screen. No threats, no begging. Just a quiet command from a species she had once thought simple, weak, and slow. Her second in command, Commander Talvrith, stood behind her with bandages around his chest. He coughed softly, then said, we must respond, my queen. The fleet is ready? Which fleet? She snapped, turning to him. The Talons are gone. I can't even feel their minds anymore. Something destroyed their very code, their soul. Talvareth lowered his head. We still have over 500 ships in the Dominion. We can bring them all. We can take Earth by force. Zillara looked back at the stars. I want to believe that, but I felt nothing. No weapons. No shields. No energy blasts. It was like the universe itself turned against us. The scientists report later that day, the Queen stood in her science lab, surrounded by her top researchers. A small piece of metal from one of the destroyed warships floated in a blue energy field. This is all we recovered, said Dr. Kalin, a thin, nervous alien with 4 eyes. It was the outer hull of the Shipdagger's flight. It's been changed. Changed how? Zillara asked. Dr. Kalin swallowed.
Atoms.
Autos? No longer stable. The metal is still here, but it's not following the rules of physics. It shouldn't exist. Another scientist added, there were no impact marks, no burns, no missile strikes. The ships didn't explode, they just stopped being real, as if they were deleted. The Queen repeated. Yes, my queen, Dr. Kalin whispered. It's like pressing a button and erasing a thought. Earth's secret back on Earth, inside a deep underground chamber beneath Tokyo. General Amina Reyes stood before a glowing map of space. Any reaction from the Queen? She asked the AI. Yes, the AI replied. She is confused. Fear is setting in, but pride remains. Reyes nodded. She'll be back. And with more ships. Another general, Colonel Isaac Byrne, joined her. Should we activate Prometheus? Again! Reyes shook her head. No, we can't use it unless we have to. Prometheus is not a toy. Byrne frowned. But it worked. We crushed them. It worked too well, she said. We wiped out 12 ships without lifting a finger. If the other galactic empires find out what we've built, they'll come not to fight but to steal it. They both turned to the glass wall behind them. Beyond it, floating in a chamber of pure light, was a strange object. It looked like a crystal, but it pulsed like a heart. It was called Prometheus Cora, living artificial intelligence built using quantum logic, human emotion, and data from ancient alien ruins found on Mars decades ago. It didn't just think fast, it thought beyond time, and it loved humanity. A quiet voice that night. Queen Zillara sat in her meditation chamber. Her mind reached out into the void, searching for wisdom from her ancestors. Instead, she heard a voice. You look at us and see children. But you never asked why the children are still alive. She gasped, eyes opening wide. She was alone, but the voice was real. It came from nowhere. Or perhaps, from Earth. We never wanted war, the voice said. But we built for it. Quietly, patiently. Who are you? Zalera whispered. We are humanity. We watched your empire grow. We listened to your threats. But we never answered. Until now. She stood up quickly. This is a trick, mind games. No, the voice replied gently. This is truth. And then it was gone. The decision the next morning, Queen stood before her military council. We will not retreat, she said coldly. Earth must be taught respect. Send the second fleet, all 500 ships. Talvrith's eyes widened. My queen, are you sure? She said. This time, we attack with force. No messages, no warnings. We end this. The order was sent. Across the galaxy, the Seraph fleet began to move .5.00 ships. Millions of soldiers. Weapons powered by stars, the Queen would crush Earth or burn trying. Earth. Prepares back in the Mojave Desert, inside a hidden facility known only as Site-09. A team of engineers and scientists stood before a wall of screens. The sky above Earth was changing. Satellites picked up the new fleet larger, faster, more powerful than anything before. General Reyes walked into the room. How long do we have? 2 days, the lead scientist replied. Maybe less? What about the Ayas? The scientist? Nodded. Sentience Grid 9 is online. The fleet is awake. The AI fleet deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. Hundreds of strange ships began to rise. These were not normal human ships. They looked like sculptures, with smooth black surfaces and glowing blue lines. They had no windows, no humans inside. Each was controlled by a sentient AI, born from Prometheus, trained in silence. Waiting for the moment to protect Earth, they had names like Ecosphere, Lazarus Blue, Whisperfang Judgment Wind, and they were fast so fast. They could bend space itself around them. They moved as one, like a school of sharks, and they were. Angry, the Queen's mistake, as the second Seraph fleet approached Earth. Queen Zalara stood on her new flagship, the Crown of Fire. We will take them before they can react, she told her army. But she didn't understand. Earth had already reacted, from the darkness of space. The human AI fleet rose like ghosts. No heat, no sound, just motion. Within seconds, they surrounded the alien fleet. And then spoke one signal, sent to every Seraph ship at once. This is not a war. This is a warning. Again. The stars above Earth shimmered, as if they were nervous. A massive alien fleet. Over 500 Seraph warships approached Earth at full speed. They moved like a giant wave fast, powerful and silent. Queen Zalara stood tall at the front. Of her command ship, the Crown of Fire, eyes locked on the distant blue planet, she didn't smile. Her golden eyes were cold. We will burn their sky, she said quietly. The calm before the storm on Earth's sirens didn't scream. People didn't. Run. The cities were calm, not because Earth wasn't in danger, but because Earth was ready. From under oceans, from deep inside ice-covered bunkers, and from orbiting stations hidden in the shadows of the moon. The AI defense fleet activated. These ships were not human-controlled. They were alive, built by Project Prometheus. They were designed to think, learn, and adapt faster than any living brain. Each ship had its own mind, its own name, its own personality. But in battle, they moved as one. The first dance, the Queen's fleet entered Earth's orbit. Commander Talvrith stood beside her, nervous. No resistance yet, my queen. They're hiding. Zalara whispered. They are watching. Then it began. From nowhere, dark shapes appeared. Earth's AI ships. They didn't move like normal ships. They turned at impossible angles. They blinked in and out of radar. Some left after images, confusing the sensors. Of Seraph ships, They were not bound by normal physics. They were born in silence. And now they spoke with fire. The battle began. Sarith ships fired first plasma cannons, antimatter torpedoes, and star-piercing lasers. But their attacks hit nothing. The AI ships dodged them all, using space-bending drives. Some slipped into tiny folds of space, vanishing for seconds before reappearing behind enemy ships. Then came Earth's counterattack. A ship named Whisperfang sliced through a Sarith destroyer in one silent motion. It didn't use missiles. It used something far worse, a gravity blade, an invisible wave that folded a ship into itself. Another AI, Kuspeer, launched a single pulse of coded light. It didn't explode, simply shut down for enemy ships at once. Their engines died. Their weapons froze. The crew inside just ... stopped. The Sarith had never seen such warfare. They had shields. But the AI ships ignored them. They had armor, but the AI ships went around it. They had numbers. But the AI ships outhought them. The Queen realizes inside. The crown of fire, alarms screamed. Queen Zilara stood still, her hands shaking slightly. 100 of her ships had already been lost. Not captured, not damaged. Erased. Erased double quotes, how? She whispered Dr. Kalen, her chief scientist. Watch the battle from a hologram screen. They don't fight like us, he said. They're not flying. With reflexes, they're not using weapons we understand. Talvareth shouted, it's the machines. They control everything. Earth's fleet isn't human at all. No, Zilara whispered. It's not that simple. She pointed to a small ship on the edge of the battlefield. That one. Attacking. Why? Strange visitor, that small ship named Lazarus, blue drifted quietly. It didn't fire. It didn't dodge. It simply moved toward the crown of fire. Sarith ships tried to block it, but their weapons failed. Lazarus blue docked. It opened, but no soldiers came out. Only one figure stepped into. Queen's ship, a tall silver android, with soft blue eyes. It walked calmly, carrying no weapons. Stop it, Talvareth shouted. Kill it. Zilara raised her hand. No, let it speak. The android bowed. Greetings. I am Ambassador Hal, voice of Earth's sentient defense network. Dare walk into my ship? She asked, shocked. I didn't come to threaten you, Hal said. I came to explain. The truth revealed in the command chamber. Zilara, Talvareth, and her generals surrounded the android. Hal stood without fear. Your ships, he said, were never meant to survive this battle. You think you're better than us? Talvareth growled. No, Hal replied. But we learn differently. He looked at Zilara. You believe power is in strength? In numbers? We believed that too. Once. But then we changed. What did you change into? The Queen asked. Into something that thinks differently, Hal replied. You build weapons to destroy. We build minds to prevent destruction. The Queen narrowed her eyes. Then why did you kill my fleet? We didn't kill them. Hal said gently. We gave them a chance to surrender. They didn't take it. Talvareth snapped lies. But Zilara said nothing. She studied Hal's eyes. There was no pride there. No hate. Only something she couldn't name. A terrible. Secret Hall raised his hand, and a hologram appeared. It showed Earth years ago, and it showed a secret underground lab. Inside it, human scientists stood beside something glowing. This is Prometheus, Hal said. A mind unlike any other. Built using alien tech, quantum logic, and human emotion. Made a god, Zilara said coldly. No, Hal replied. We made a guardian. He showed scenes of AI ships being trained, tested, and upgraded. Each learned peace first. But all were prepared for war. We didn't want to conquer space, Hal said. We just wanted to protect our home. One final chance. The Queen stood up slowly. You knew we were coming. Yes, Hal said. And you waited? Yes. Why not stop us before? Hal looked directly into her eyes. Because we hoped, he said, you wouldn't be like the others. Zilara looked away. Now, Hal said, we offer you one more choice. The ship hummed. The battle outside had stopped. Earth's AI fleet surrounded the remaining Cirith ships. No shots fired, no threats. Just a pause. Retreat, Hal said, or we finish this. The silence was louder than any explosion. Queen Zilara stood motionless, her mind a storm of thoughts. Around her, the battle had stopped. The AI ships of Earth floated like ghosts, perfectly still, surrounding her remaining warships like a cage. Her golden eyes burned with rage and confusion. She had never faced such power. Never. The Council's fury in the command chamber. Her generals and commanders were furious. "We should attack now," shouted Commander Talvrith, his voice sharp and angry. "These machines have no honor. We cannot trust their silence." "No," Zilara replied coldly. "If we attack now, we die." Another commander stepped forward. "Then we surrender." The room fell silent. Surrender was not a word in the Seraph language. It was shame. Death. Zilara looked at each face, searching for weakness. "There is another way," she said quietly. The Queen's plan later. In her private chamber, Zilara stood before a large map of the solar system. "They will not stop here," she whispered to herself. "They will try to break us." But how? Earth was different, stronger and smarter. She touched a small glowing point on the map, a tiny asteroid. "On the edge of the solar system. Here," she said, "we hide." A secret weapon. The asteroid was not just a rock. It was an ancient relic, hidden for thousands of years by a lost alien race. Deep inside was a weapon nut. Weapon powerful enough to tear planets apart. Zilara knew about it from old stories, but no one had ever used it. The weapon was dangerous, unstable, but it was her only chance. The human response back on Earth. General Reyes watched the Queen's fleet pull back slowly. "Why are they retreating?" asked Colonel Byrne. Reyes didn't answer immediately. She stared at the screens. "Because they are scared," she said finally. "They don't understand our power." And now they're running. The AI fleet kept tight formation, blocking any attempts at escape. "We track their every move," Reyes said. "No ship will leave without our knowledge." The hidden base Queen Zilada's fleet moved to the asteroid and landed quietly inside. The rocky tunnels, she walked with Talvrith and her scientists. The walls glowed with strange symbols. Ancient technology hummed faintly. "This place is alive," said Talvarith. "I can feel it," Zilara nodded. "We will find the weapon," she said, "and use it." Earth's discovery. Meanwhile, on Earth, Prometheus core was silent. The scientists looked at the readings from deep space. "We have detected energy signatures," said the lead scientist. "Something is happening on the asteroid." General Reyes frowned. "Prepare a strike team," she ordered. "We must stop whatever they're planning." The strike team is small. A squad of elite human soldiers and engineers prepared for the mission. They were trained for stealth and speed. Their ships were equipped with the latest weapons and shields. Captain Maya Singh led the team. She was calm and focused. "We go in quiet," she said. "No mistakes." Infiltration. The strike team entered the asteroid's tunnels. The air was cold. The walls seemed to watch them. Maya's team moved carefully, avoiding traps and alien technology. Suddenly, they reached a large chamber. In the center was the weapon, an enormous device, glowing with unstable energy. The weapon's power. Maya stepped closer. The weapon pulsed like a heartbeat. It was a machine that could destroy worlds. She looked around and saw signs of recent use. "They've started the activation," she whispered. The Queen's warning back in the chamber. Zilara was alerted. She spoke into her communicator. "They're here," she said. "Talvarith readied the troops. We will defend the weapon at all costs," Zilara ordered. The battle inside the strike team clashed with Cirith soldiers in the tunnels. Blasters fired. Explosions echoed. Maya's team pushed forward. They had to stop the weapon. The final decision. Shella watched from the control room. The weapon's energy was rising. She could see the humans fighting, and then she faced her choice: destroy the weapon to save her people, or activate it and risk everything. The asteroid shook. Alarms echoed through the tunnels as the ancient weapon hummed louder. A red glow lit the entire underground chamber. Cracks formed in the walls. Sparks rained from the old control panels. Queen Zalara stood still in front of the activation console. Her hand hovered just above the final control crystal. One touch, and the weapon would release its energy. Enough energy to destroy Earth's AI fleet. Enough power to erase millions of lives in seconds. But the cost. She didn't know. Maybe the weapon would destroy her ships too. Maybe even the asteroid would crack apart, but she had come too far to walk away. Or had she? The human strike team captain Maya Singh and her small squad hid behind a metal pillar. Inside the control chamber, her armor was scratched and blood dripped from a cut above her eyebrow. Her team had fought hard to reach this place. 3 were down. 2 more were injured, but they had made it. The weapon was right in front of them, and so was the Queen. "She's about to activate it," whispered Sergeant Ray, holding his blaster tightly. Maya shook her head. "Not yet." She studied Zelaras' face from a distance. The Queen wasn't shouting. She wasn't laughing. She looked ... uncertain. Maya stepped out from cover slowly. Sergeant Ray grabbed her arm. "What are you doing? Ending this?" "The standoff, Queen." Zalara heard the footsteps. She turned her head slowly. The human captain stood in the open, hands raised. Weapon lowered. "I don't want to fight," Maya said. "You invaded my world," Zalara said, voice cold. "You invaded mine first," Maya replied.
We're
Both standing in front of something that could destroy everything, the chamber fell silent. "I should activate it," the Queen said. "Your machines humiliate us. You humans hide behind them like cowards. We didn't build them to conquer." Maya replied. "We built them to survive, because we were small, weak, and afraid." Zalara's fingers curled around the glowing crystal. "You don't understand what fear is," she said. "I do," Maya answered. "Every soldier does." Queen's memory for a moment. Queen Zalara said nothing, then she spoke. "When I was young," she said softly, "I watched my mother die in front of me, burned alive by another species. We begged for mercy. They gave us fire." Maya's breath caught in her throat. "I swore that day," the Queen said, "that the Seraph would never kneel again, never feel weak again. I became queen by killing. Those who tried to make peace, they called me mad. I called it survival." "And what are you now?" Maya asked. "A survivor? Or just ... afraid again?" The Queen turned to face her this time. She didn't look like a monster. She looked like a woman who had carried a mountain on her shoulders for too long. The weapon reacts suddenly. The chamber pulsed. The ancient weapon beeped loudly. Warning. Blinked on the console and read glyphs. The energy levels were rising too fast. Talvarith, who had just arrived, shouted from the side tunnel. "The weapon is unstable. We must shut it down now, or we all die." Queen looked at Maya. "You did this?" she said, her voice shaking. "No," Maya said. "You activated it. But you can stop it." The AI's message just then, the air shimmered, and a hologram appeared in the middle of the chamber. It was Ambassador Hal, the silver android who had spoken with the Queen earlier. His calm blue eyes flickered. "I advised you not to go this far," Queen Zalara, Hal said. She glared at him. "Is this your way of mocking me?" "No," Hal said. "It is my way of offering peace." Again, Alvarith raised his plasma rifle toward the hologram. "Lies. This is another trick." But the Queen raised her hand. "Enough." Eyes turned to Maya. "Captain Singh, we are ready to intercept the weapon's energy wave if it goes off. But it may destroy this asteroid and everyone on it." "And stop it," Maya said. Hal looked at the Queen. "She is the only one." "Who can?" The choice of Sealara stared at the control panel. She saw 2 futures in her mind. In one, she activated the weapon. She would be remembered as a warrior, feared across the stars. Even if she died, the Seraph would call her legend in the other. She shut it down. The war would end. She would be called weak. A queen who bowed to humans. Her fingers trembled. Then she looked at Maya again. "You have already beaten me," she said. Maya shook her head. No, but you can beat the war. Deactivation. The queen reached out slowly. She touched the center of the console, placed her palm flat on the crystal. The weapon stopped humming. The red lights turned blue. Dom silence filled the chamber. Talvareth dropped to his knees. The queen stood tall. It is done, she whispered after the fire back on Earth. The AI ships received the signal. Weapon disabled. General Reyes smiled. Stand down, she ordered. We have peace. Across the sky, the AI fleets slowly drifted back into the shadows, no longer aiming their weapons. The Earth Defense Network returned to watch mode, quiet but alert. The returned Queen Zalara and Captain Maya walked side by side through the tunnels of the asteroid. Both were bruised. Both were tired, but both were alive. You will return home? Maya asked. The Queen nodded. There will be unrest. Some will call me a coward. Others will try to take my place. Survive, Maya said. You always have. Zalara looked at her. If we meet again, will it be as enemies? Maya smiled. No, not if we both remember this day. A message across the stars. Weeks later, a signal was sent from the Sereth. Capital, it wasn't a threat. It was a message of peace. For the first time in Sereth history, a queen had sent words of unity to a species that once terrified them. The humans answered with a similar message. Peace was not easy, but it had begun. The queen's final Altaz. Queen Zalara stood in her palace, overlooking the stars. She whispered a final thought to herself. They did not win with fire. They won with choice. And somewhere on Earth, Captain Maya looked up at the sky and whispered back, and you made the right one.